We're back in this. So, if you're just joining us now, or you're watching this video, I recently just did a reaction to the Maxor Genshin Impact as an anime you play video, and you'll probably be able to find the VOD on my stream, or you can probably watch it on YouTube later, but it'll be highly edited. Anywho, back to the normal intro stuff. We're going to be doing the Dehya story quest today. However, because we had to end the stream early last time, we'll try to finish this until Vana is healed questline first, and we'll jump into the Dehya questline afterwards. Deaths are still going to equal pulls. However, because we haven't been pulling lately, we're going to do at least one 10 pull today, just to say that we did. And with that out of the way, I guess we can just move over to the game scene. Game's been loading a little bit slow lately. And for those of you who actually watch my videos, thank you. But we're going to try to just get all the other side stuff out of the way. I still have my little to-do list with things to check off. And we're pretty close to all of it, actually. Valor's Afterglow, I think we're still going to be working on for a while. We'll probably have time to check in on that as well at the end. But today is all about the Dehya quest. And that's going to be the main thing we do. Subs are also going to still force pulls now that I think about it. And we're not going to do too much more of the games. I don't really plan on doing the Vibro Crystal thingy. I don't care enough to do it. But yeah, we're starting off with until Vana is healed. Where is this withering zone it wants me to clear? Right there? I think my team is good enough to clear a withering zone. Alright. Uh-oh, I forgot to refresh stamina. Alright.
Don't blink.
Where's the thingy? There's usually a thingy that lets me destroy these. Ah, that's helpful. Ah, there it is. It did not work out well. There we go. Now we just gotta kill the big mushroom. Ow. Actually, let's just do this.
Germinate! Hey!
Bye, Withering. Everything should be fine now. Let's go. Go deeper into the cave and search for clues. Alright. Oh, it's the Abyss Mages, like Eroticon said.
Incoming.
Baddies who want to make Vana sick.
With sword comes shadow.
Propagate!
Let's dance.
Scatter!
Don't blink. Change of plan. Yeah. Speed of light. Incoming. Nowhere to hide.
Got him! Do they still have their eyes on the ruin golem? They just don't know when to quit. I know, right? Also, how did they find out about this place? What if they beat us to the clues? Baddies aren't R&R friends, so they won't find the solution. Eh? What do you mean? Ara Lohita likes riddles and traps to hid the solution. Bad guys aren't with R&R, so they won't get the answer. Even so, Paimon's still a bit worried. Let's hurry up and find the clues.
I'll protect us.
Okay. This cave is long. There's a place Aruhito stayed before long. We go there. Oh. Alright. This seems easy enough. It looks like Aranara was here for a while on the wall. What message from the Aralohita? Aralohito left a riddle. It must be really hard. Can we solve it by force? I'm good at solving riddles. Solving a riddle like this is nothing for Dan. Speaking of which, what exactly is the riddle? And is the answer the solution we're looking for? No, the riddle is simple. That's right, Aralohita hid the solution in the labyrinth. The passage to the labyrinth is the answer. So we just have to solve the riddle and figure out the passage of the labyrinth first, right? Paimon's right. The riddle is a short one. Ran across it the day before yesterday. Yesterday and today. Ran across it the day before yesterday, yesterday and today, huh? How are we supposed to guess that? What are the day before yesterday, yesterday and today? Aralohita learned them from Nara. They are not Aranara words. Oh, that's right. Aranara doesn't really understand our concept of time. How can we explain it to Ararikon? Well, today runs from the most recent daybreak to dark. Yesterday is the same cycle before that. The day before yesterday is the one before that. Probably not the best way to describe it, but do you get it? Yes, today Ararikon met Naradan and Paimon. That's correct, but probably not the answer to the riddle. Aralohita wrote the answer in 3 different places. Let's go look around. True, but if there are 3 spaces to fill, then we can get them all right on the first try. Ararikon mentioned that Aralohita likes mechanisms. But there shouldn't be any that would blow up when receiving the wrong answers, right? Do you know what Aralohita's mechanisms are like, Ararikon? Arale-kan has no idea. Well, then we should be cautious. We don't want any important clues because of our screw-ups. We don't want to lose important clues because of our screw-ups. The answer are in 3 different places. Shouldn't be far. Let's check out those places. Alright. Mushroom. It is Duskbird. I think I've been in this cave before. Oh, I passed it. That's well hidden. It says Rishaband Tiger. It says Shroomboar. Arlita asks question, answer correct way to get out. It is the time of truth. It's the time of truth. Paimon is so afraid that we'll botch this, so let's review the riddle again. Ran across it the day before yesterday, and today. The order of the answer is still unclear. Fungus, Sumpter Beast, Golden Wolf Lord. That's true. We only know the answer includes Duskbird, Shroomboar, and Rishal and Tiger, but we don't know what order they should be placed. How are we going to know what Arahita ran across on which day? Paimon thought you said it was an easy one, Ararikan. Paimon, this riddle is not question. It is about Aralohita. What if it is not a question, and who else can it be about, if not about Aralohita? Paimon's not getting this at all. You should probably think beyond the text. But normally Aranara only understand literal meanings. Now there's an Aranara who can speak in riddles? Paimon can't keep up! The order, not how the Aralita met them, but how Naradan met them. Okay. I believe it's time to start using Kale.
I'll ensure your safety.
Seems the order is wrong. One. Two. 3. Because they have tick marks that look like 1, 2, and 3. So did that work?
Glad they weren't any poisonous mushrooms inside.
It's clear that riddle, that's all. It doesn't seem to be any self-destruct device either. But who knows what is inside? Let's proceed with caution. Oh, we opened a path in here. Ugh, it's this thing again. Music time! La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. That was simple and straightforward. What's this? It's a labyrinth, a literal labyrinth. Find the end. Let's go to the end. It's a puzzle dungeon. Oh boy. Aren't we in for a romp?
It's important to replenish your supplies often when you're out in the wild.
I don't think we were meant to be able to just walk through it. Found it. Finally. It's the clue from Aurelahita. It looks like some sort of transcript. Oh, this must be the results of Pierre Cavafis's research. Let's read it now. Let Paimon see. Theory and practice, enhancing the safety of the Chaos Core in unstable conditions, using the Conria Ruin Golem of Devantaka Mountain as an example. What does that mean? Paimon knows these words, but doesn't get why they're put together like this. Is this an academic study? This might be a long shot, but do you understand this, Arari-kan? Looks like lots of crawling bugs. Yuck. So none of us understand it. Looks like we need to ask Jazari. Arari-kan may not approve, but Pierre Cavadicus has been gone for a long time. Auralohita too. Jazari is our only hope at this point. I don't think he has good reason to refuse. He'll probably be over the moon about it. Nara Jazari is on moon? So very far. Cannot come here to help? No, just figure of speech. It means he'll be very, very happy. Mr. Jazari is probably still on Devantaka Mountain researching. Since we have a lead now, let's go look for him. He's probably still in the golem, right? Yeah, he's still in the golem. The vibro crystal thingy has updated. I get it. Boop.
Yep.
There we go. Glad I remembered how the elevator works. Oh, he's over there. He's not on the top level. Oh, wow, what's over here? Oh, that's where I came in. He was right next to us. There you are, Mr. Jazari. It was so easy to find you. Oh, it's Dan and Paimon, right? Yes, but why are you looking at Paimon like that? Well, I'm worried about you. I don't know how you've been doing since last time I saw you. Did you see a doctor? Oh, you don't need to worry about that. Sigh, your friend's situation may seem fine for now. But you'd better keep an eye on her. Oh, so parentheses can be whispering too, eh? Hey, just because you're whispering to Dan doesn't mean Paimon won't hear everything. There are no secrets between us. Okay, the only person wearing shoes will know if they fit. Since you insist that you're fine, then there's nothing more I can say. Why does that sound so harsh? Our Sumeru people are warm and sincere. As one of them, I don't mean anything other than what I said. Anyway, what brings you two here? Did you suddenly develop a passion for scholarship and finally decide to dedicate yourselves to the pursuit of the truth? Well, it does have to do with scholarship. Here, take a look at this. Give Jazari a look at the data you found. Mr. Jazari, hello? What's up with him? Is it even too hard for him to understand? Is Nara Jazari's small iron chunk broken? Aha! Ah! Why did you shout out of nowhere like that? My Pierre Cavaticus! No, this is a paper by none other than Pierre Cavaticus himself. And it's his theory and practice, enhancing the safety of the Chaos Core in unstable conditions using the Conrian Rune Golem of Devantaka Mountain as an example. My stars! What an exclusive pioneering research in my hand. Even if I just wrote a review, I could still apply for funding from the academia. Tell me, where did you find this? Well, can't exactly tell him we found it in the Aranara Labyrinth. Just make up some random answer. We found it in a mushroom cave deep in the forest. What? Pierre Cavaticus was conducting research in a place like that? Huh. Looked like I'd better examine my own research attitude. We tried reading it, but we couldn't make heads or tails of it. These are the results of some very important research, right? What's written in it? Could you give us a simple version, Mr. Jazari? Why do you want to know about it? Didn't Mr. Jazari say before that the gates of scholarship will open to whoever has a seeking heart? Paimon also really wants to know what a genius like Pierre Cavaticus wrote about. I did say that, but I've been following this project for a very, very long time. If you must know, the amount of prior research I've done over the years is even more than the stories you've heard. Oh? This is a great discovery indeed, and you were the ones to find this important data. Regardless, now that you've embarked on the path of scholarship, you are novices that will require my expertise to guide you through the accurate reading of this text. So? You won't try to publish your results before me, will you? Huh? Why are you worried about that? Well, such a publication would undoubtedly bring forth fame and fortune. As they say, your fate isn't determined by your ability, but your luck. Finally, someone who gets me. With your remarkably good luck, I don't think I would stand a chance. You're worrying yourself over nothing. Dan and Paimon don't have a permit from the academia. We would never conduct research with malicious intent. Is that so? Why didn't you say so? But worry not. If you ever want to seek an academic career, I'll write you a letter of recommendation. And by then, my letter recommendation will probably be worth a fortune. For now, though, there's no time to lose. Let's go to the core of the ruin golem and test Pierre Cavaticus' theory. Great, this just might solve our problem, Ararikon. It may not be a permanent cure, but at least it takes care of the current crisis. Yes, Narajazari Narajazari is not no good. It's good. Are you sure? I'll soon become a wealthy researcher to repay you. Why don't I recommend a few good physicians for you and your self-talk? Paimon already said it's fine, but Paimon would gladly welcome being treated to some more Subaru delicacies. Go to the Dev's Cavern. That's the thing that the golem punched the hole in, right? God, this golem is so huge, I forget sometimes how big it was. There was a waypoint down here. Doesn't hurt to make sure you're on the right path, though. Oh. Man, I don't remember this path being this long. Dev's Cavern. Let's just go further up. Ah, so this was just a different entrance. Interesting. Alright. I don't remember this entrance. But the fact that we knew about this entrance, it means that we wouldn't have had to do that whole side quest with Jazari. Could have just came down here. We're back. If we can completely seal the core, then the Abyss Order will have a hard time wrecking it again. My little friend, if you don't have faith in me, you should have some faith in Pierre Cavaticus. I read through his masterpiece several times on the way here. I completely understand it now. That's Pierre Cavaticus is all right. A paragon of genius. It's unfortunate that such a genius no longer walks among us. However, he left behind a clear path. All we need to do is follow it to reach the correct destination. Sounds like there won't be much we can do to help, so we'll just have to count on you, Mr. Jazari. Not necessarily. As they say, sword is the final solution. Still, I hope that you can draw your weapon now. Why? Roses have thorns, treasure troves have snakes. Who can say what perils await us? Besides, this great endeavor mustn't be stopped halfway. If we're interrupted, not even Pir Cavaticus himself could predict the consequences. Is it really going to be that dangerous? It's possible that nothing will happen at all. It's also possible that we'll end up buried here together. In any case, it's better to be safe than sorry. I have much faith in your abilities. When I seal the core, I trust that you'll be able to cover my rear. Now Jazari wants us to push his lower back. Oricon wants to help, but Nara Jazari too tall. Oricon can't reach. That's not what he meant. I could lift you up. He means that he wants us to guard this place, and keep him from being interrupted by bad guys when he's sealing the core. Jazari is attacked by the Abyss. Of course. Bad people want to make Vana sick. Can't let them close to Nara Jazari. Kipika Gundar. Oh! That was an insta-kill. Wow, what is with this game lag today? Like, look at this. Hello? Game? Game present? Okay. Well, that was definitely some lag. I was killed before I could even react. That's a cool steal.
Let's dance. Huh? I must leave no stone unturned. Huh. Time to clean up. Huh. Steady as stone. Yeah. I'll catch up.
Come on.
Got lucky that time. Don't blink. Hey!
One down.
Cut to the chase. Incoming.
That's another one down, and another one down. Another one bites the dust.
Hi. Yeah. Oh. Oh. La, 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 la. Hi. Oh. Go! I must leave no stone unturned. Hi.
Fuck, it's another wave?
Predator's going for size. Steady as. Hi. Nowhere to hide. Don't blink.
Oh my god. This must be the work of Jazari's seal. Oh boy.
Cut to the chase. Let's dance. Ready, steady, go!
Bubble pop, please. Thank you. There we go. Look at that bubble pop damage. Physical damage Barbara is the way to win. At least some lectors didn't show up. Just what you expect from myself. Did it work? Do I even need to say it? I am a Kasharawa researcher who aspires to receive the Pyrrhic Prize, and I have the guidance from Pyrrhic himself. If I couldn't succeed with all that, it'd be hard to imagine anyone else from the academia completing this task. That's impressive, Mr. Jazari. The original data from the previous study was already enough for a conventional publication, but now... my apologies, I lost my composure there for a moment. Not only have the records of Pyrrhic long-lost research been recovered, but now I'm testing his theory, and it was a success. No matter how you put it, it's a great success. Quite right. Quite right. Quite right, quite right. I'll have to publish on an even larger scale with results like these. An upgrade is naturally reasonable, and I won't need to worry about research funds anymore. Most importantly, there hasn't been an academic breakthrough like this in many years, not since Kasharawar was devastated by Pyrrhic accident. Now there's hope for reviving the Kasharawar thanks to the rediscovery of Pyrrhic research. Goodness, it's so wonderful I can hardly believe it. I should head back and record today's results while they're still fresh in my mind. I have the opportunity to issue them publicly. I hope you'll both come and listen. After all, you have made a significant contribution to the project, and as its leader, I am indebted to you. If you ever need my help, just come find me. Even if I'm busy, I'll always spare some time for you two. Sorry, leaves in a flash. Arikon not helpful at all. What do you mean? Didn't you complete your mission? Now those bad things that have made the forest sick are sealed away, and those Abyss Order goons won't be able to do a thing. Using other people's strength is also wise. Dan's right. Some things just cannot be done by yourself. There's no shame in getting some help from others. What's important is that you're protecting what you want to protect. This mean Ararikon protected Vana? Of course, even if it's not protected once and for all, at least you healed the forest's illness. Isn't that your contribution? Yes, thank you, Paimon. Thank you, Dan. Ararikon's friends. Still, Mr. Jazari couldn't perceive Ararikon at all. Looks like he's a far cry from Pyrrhic. Yeah, and didn't he promise to treat us to some food from Sumeru? Darn it, we forgot to set a time and place. Paimon hopes we'll run into him again. How about you, Ararikon? Will you stay in Devantaka Mountain? Bad guy's gone, the things that make Vana sick healed now. All safe now. Ararikon go back to Vanarana. Tell other Aranara. Right. Ararikon will not forget Naradan and Paimon. Don't forget Ararikon. Of course we won't. And we'll definitely come back to Vanarana if we get the chance. Okay, Naradan and Paimon, Ararikon's friends. And thus another Aranara quest line is finished. The Spooky Ruin Golem Core. But that's enough sidetracking. We're here. Now let's do the thing that y'all came here to see. It's Dehya time. Lion's Blood. Manticora chapter, Act 1. Shade upon red silk. But hey, we got a death and we did a pull. Which is one more death than I thought we would have. And we've switched up our team a little bit. Got Kale here. She's still level 60. I need to get her up to 70. It's been a pain getting characters up to 70, though. So I wonder what Dehya's story is going to be about. I was really surprised that a fucking Alhaitham story was like a fucking hive mind fucking project. So Dehya's is probably going to have something to do with the desert or the Eremites. Since it was basically him filling in for the role of the Grand Sage. But what is Dehya's purpose now that all is calm in Sumeru? Only time will tell. Oh, and that's right. They said Dunyarzad will actually be showing up in this story, so I will get to see Dunyarzad again. I'm excited. So excited. I just can't hide it. Alright. But, like I said, for some reason the game is lagging quite a bit today. And I can't explain why. Can't think of a reason why. I think the game just crashed. This will be my first game crash since, like... What was it, like stream number 2 or 3? We haven't had a lot of game crashes in Genshin Impact, so this is rare. Yep. That looks like the game crashed. Oh, hang on. Something's happening. Oh. Nope, it's crashing. Let's wait for program to respond because it hasn't closed itself out yet. Come on. Come on, game. You can do it. Everybody cheer it on. Game, please load. Game, please load. Game, please load. I didn't mean reload. Oh boy. Please load does sound like reload now that I think about it out loud. Okay. I guess now is as good a time as any to remind everybody about the rules of the stream. Deaths equal wishes. Subs equal wishes. You kill that stream boss, you make me wish. It's a Dehya stream, so we're wishing on the Dehya banner, which I think is going away in a few days. So if you really want Dehya, this is going to be like the last real chance for you to get her. Or a guaranteed way to get her, because she's going on standard banner after this, and sadly, I don't think there's going to be a way to get her. Maybe they'll start doing rotations for the standard banner, because I feel like it's kind of... The standard banner is getting a little bit bloated now. Because, like, the 5-star you're supposed to get from the standard banner is supposed to be, like, Mona, Chi-Chi, Kaching, right? And then you lose the 50-50 and you get one of the other ones, like Diluc, Jean, or... I think that's how it works? I'll have to look at it. check out the rates later. Gotta say, I don't think we're gonna get Dehya. I would like to have her, just because she seems like the most fun pyro character in the game for me to play. Because I don't really play pyro characters as DPS. I play pyro characters just as applicators. Okay, so we're going to the Grand Bazaar, which means Dunyarzad's probably there. Grand Bazaar! Oh, no. Oh! I was about to say, the sound wasn't working.
I'll protect us.
Where are all the people? Oh, there are all the people. Is this mission gonna just, like, kill the fucking game? Because it seems to be lagging hard.
I was trying to remember. What else did we put on our shopping list? Oh, what a mouth-watering smell. Paimon would know the aroma of biryani anywhere. Let's go get some.
That wasn't on our list, was it?
We can still add it to the list.
Spoken like someone who doesn't know how shopping works.
Well, if it isn't the Traveler and Paimon.
Doing
Wasn't
yourself.
expecting to see you here.
I was, but yay! I'm happy.
Hello there. Oh, it's been quite a while.
So you two are still hanging out together. Dehya, didn't you say last time that you were gonna head back to the desert?
Yeah, when is she gonna do that?
I said I was going to resign from being her bodyguard. Not that our friendship was over. We're still the best of friends.
That's nice.
The Homayanis also still post jobs from time to time. Their pay is always generous, so me and the other mercs never pass them up.
I told Dehya to just stay at our place when she took one of those jobs a few days ago. My parents were delighted. They even said that it always felt like we were missing someone whenever Dehya wasn't around.
That's nice. She must be like a second family to them.
That sounds like something they would say, all right. They're always so welcoming.
I wonder if we'll ever meet Dunyarzad's parents.
Anyway, the job is already taken care of, so I was gonna head back to the brigade as soon as I finished a little shopping. But the master kept insisting, and I ended up staying for another day.
You can stay for as many days as you want, Dehya. Father hasn't even gotten around to treating you to his best dishes yet.
What do your parents do again?
You know I'm not the kind of person to stay put in one place like that, my lady. Don't worry, though. There'll always be next time.
What? She said they'll treat you to the best dishes. I can't believe you can still refuse that.
Paimon, not everybody has your salacious stomach.
But wait. Didn't you say last time that you would take me on a trip to the desert? Why don't you just take me with you today, when you leave? There are so many places I still haven't visited yet.
Oh no. We're gonna get stuck hauling her around, aren't we? I mean, I like her, but, that just sounds like the godforsaken worst type of game design. An escort mission.
I'm sorry, my lady, but no can do. There's still a few things I need to take care of back at the brigade. Besides, the desert hasn't exactly been the most peaceful place lately.
Why not? I assumed, with, like, Sataria being out there, Amon being out there, and frickin' Kusanali now in charge, relations with the desert would have been anything but improving.
Oh, come on. Not this again. That's also what you said last time and the time before that.
I know, I'm sorry. Just give me some more time, and I promise I'll plan the best trip ever for you.
All right, fine. To be perfectly honest, it's not that I wanted to go, it's more like I feel like something is off about you lately. Ever since you first set foot on the estate a few days ago, you've been acting anxious and even paranoid. Have you been delaying our trip because you've run into some kind of trouble?
Oh, she knows you so well.
Nah, are you kidding? You're worrying too much.
I don't think she is. I think she's onto you.
Would you swear on that? Friends shouldn't lie to each other, you know. I wouldn't pry any further if you're willing to swear on what you just said.
And here we are, the third wheel again. Just kind of standing here watching a spat between two people that have nothing to do with us.
But if something really is bothering you, then just tell me. You know I'll help you however I can.
Oh, looks like Junior's was onto something.
Thank you, Paimon. Thank you for keeping up with me.
You're too perceptive, my lady. Seems I can't hide anything from you. I just thought that nothing good could come out of telling you about the messy happenings of mercenaries. Knowing too much only leads to more trouble.
I wonder if this has anything to do with her character trailer.
Mercenary life is a dog-eat-dog world where Mora reigns supreme. Everything operates on a completely different set of rules.
That doesn't change anything about what I just said, though. We're still friends, and I can only support you if I understand what's bothering you.
My lady, you're not gonna stop until you drag it out of me, are ya?
Nope. Keep digging.
All right, I'll share what I know. Let's go somewhere else first. This isn't exactly the best place for a discussion. Okay, let's talk here. Just try not to draw any extra attention.
I just noticed that the tips of her shoes point up.
As you may already know, the Eremites have both a lot of mercenaries and a complex organizational structure. Many mercs are no different than me, just going around looking for jobs to earn some mora. My brigade is called the Blazing Beasts. We're not a large group, but every member is loyal and brave.
I don't think we've met your group yet, actually. I think we've only ever met you.
However, not all Eremite brigades are like mine. Some are willing to cross all kinds of lines for the sake of mora. The most notorious is a faction known as Deshret's Relics.
That doesn't sound good.
Deshret's relics? Judging from the name, they must really look up to...
Hal Akmar or King Deshret? Probably King Deshret. But I wonder if they've been told that the king... I wonder if they're up to speed on the King Deshret resurrection thing was fake.
Yep, you got it. I've heard that you've already crossed paths with Ain al-Akmar. They're one of the groups under the Relic's banner.
Oh, they're a group under the Relic's ban. Okay, that makes sense. So there's they have a weird faction dynamic. So I guess Ain al-Akmar is one faction under a bigger faction. I guess that makes sense.
Oh, you mean the group that tried to sell us the Divine Knowledge Capsule? Yeah, they weren't friendly at all.
Deshret's Relics is composed of many smaller brigades like Ain al-Akmar. The Relic's headquarters issues orders to all brigades under his control. On any other day, I would want nothing to do with them. Unfortunately, though, the brigade that's stirring up trouble now is none other than Dakan al-Akmar.
Another al-Akmar.
Khan?
I think it means beard or something. Believe me, it's a really stupid name. I found it insufferable for years. Anyway, the real issue is that Dakan al-Akmar is led by my father, Kusela.
Oh. Is he gonna have an original design?
Say what now?
I think I'm starting to understand your anxiety now. But what did they do?
I won't go into details, my lady, but they've been involved in a lot of violent incidents. We're talking hundreds.
Hundreds?
That's a lot.
Yep. The scenes tend to be quite gruesome, too. They strip the victims of all their valuables before murdering them.
Eee, so this is a family issue.
Not only have they targeted merchant caravans and ordinary citizens, but other mercenary brigades as well.
No honor among thieves.
That's beyond terrible. They won't even spare their own kind.
I don't know how Deshret's Relic sees it. All I do know is that Dakan al-Akmar has become more and more aggressive over the last few years.
Probably because of the stupid last couple of years, the fucking sages did that whole King Deshret's coming back nonsense.
If I don't do something about them, then even my brigade or the people of Aru village could become their next target. I just wish I knew what's driven him to do this.
Yeah. How can your father father do such terrible things?
I don't know. People change. He's always been pretty pathetic. But at least in the past, there were still a few lines that he wouldn't cross.
That's setting the bar pretty low.
I mean, if he was even remotely decent, then why would I have to leave the brigade and cut all ties with him? He was loud and foolish, with no real sense of purpose. Instead of doing anything useful, he spent most of his time drinking and chasing after women. Of course, the other brigade members were just like him. Their ruckus would go on night after night.
Sounds like a nightmare.
What about your mother? Did she ever step in to stop them?
I'm guessing she's dead.
Unfortunately, I never knew my mother.
I'm sorry, Dehya. I didn't know.
It's all right, my lady. That's pretty common in mercenary circles. Didn't I mention that my father was chasing after women? I was the result of one of those encounters with some random person.
Oof.
He told me that he wasn't sure who my mother was. And in any case, she never came to see me. He'd say, "You'll be fine as long as you remember to stick with Dad." But even then, he left most of the parenting to the brigade. The one thing I do remember is that he used to tell me stories. But the problem was that he had terrible taste. He only knew a few stories, and even those tended to be pretty stale. They were tales of desert warriors defeating dragons in the forest, or stories of mercenaries rescuing princesses from rebel armies.
Sounds like your typical fairy tales.
Bog run of the mill.
More or less, yeah. They were interesting maybe the first or second time around, but after about 20 repeats, they started to get a little dull. He seemed to think those stories were the best things ever, though. He was so into them that he'd call the whole brigade over and make them perform the whole thing as a play.
Huh. Your dad sounds interesting.
Even the toys he gave me would all be story props. I'd get helmets, shields, and toy swords. It was only much later when I realized that the shows were more for him than they ever were for me.
What an interesting guy.
Yeah, I'm with Paimon on this one. Doesn't sound like he had all bad intentions.
Yeah, I've always found him pretty childish, but that was something I could just shrug off. I had no reason to despise him.
I have a feeling that these are not stories and that these are his past, is my takeaway. Or theory. Again, no, I'm not doing that.
Until I grew up and learned the true face of Deshret's relics for myself. Looting, blackmail, violence, and fraud. They not only accepted such heinous acts, they would even openly boast about them.
That's what happens when money is your sole motivating factor. You start to stop caring how you get it.
No one in the brigade was any kind of hero. Instead, my father and his cronies were more like the bad guys that needed to be taken down. Did they really think that as long as they didn't do any of that stuff right in front of me, I would never know?
I think I can understand your feelings. The difference between perception and reality must have hit hard.
Yeah, but don't worry, my lady. It's all water under the bridge to me now. I had a huge argument with my father and left that place behind for good. I'm not investigating them due to any bitter feelings I still have towards my father. I just want to protect those that are close to me.
You just want to find out why they suddenly started causing so much trouble.
Yeah. I told the boys to gather as much information as they could. Most of the reports concern violent incidents, but there's also some talk of smuggling.
I see. But isn't this investigation incredibly dangerous?
It is, but every mercenary lives life on the edge. It's a lifestyle that I enjoy.
That may be true, but it'll be impossible for those who care about you not to worry.
Well, now you get why I didn't want to share any of this with you.
What should we do? They both have valid concerns.
I'll go back to the desert with Dehya.
Huh? But there's no need for you to get caught up in this mess, too.
I wasn't doing anything anyway. Except maybe shopping.
Well, he's super tough, so if he went into the desert with you, then Paimon bets the problem will be solved in no time.
Speaking of shopping, I just bought a fuck ton of One Piece cards. Singles. I spent about $40 on singles. I pretty much have a full set of the black cards in the upcoming set, which are basically all the marine cards. I grabbed full play sets of all the commons and uncommons, as well as a few of the leaders. I want to build a black playable deck, but haven't decided on which one yet. Probably going to build Garp and build it in a Dawn Attach aggro strategy.
I'm inclined to agree. I'd feel a lot more at ease if you took him along to help.
You can count on me.
I'll wait for news from you in the city until then. Please, stay safe.
I'm honored that you care so much for me, my lady.
That's what friends are for.
All right, then let's get moving. Our first stop will be Caravan Rebot, where we can catch up a bit with my fellow mercs.
Here we go.
Please be careful. I'll stay in the city and wait for news from you. Just don't do anything reckless, all right?
This world is full of unsolved mysteries.
Take you to Caravan Rebot. Fate is fast. Where's Caravan? Oh, it's so far down. Excuse me? I hit teleport. Is the game going to be like spending 10 years just to go through every single loading screen again? Because if it is, I might have actually just walked there. It might have been faster. Fast. Faster. 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 Now I'm thinking of that one song edit that somebody made a few years ago. It's Master of Puppets, except whenever he says master, the song gets faster. It's a funny meme. It takes like a 5-minute Metallica song and turns it into a 2-minute Metallica song because of how fast it starts getting pretty quickly. Especially because of that one chorus section where it just goes, Master, 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 Master. Shape upon red silk.
Hey, Dehya, you're back. Are these two friends of yours?
Blazing Beasts. Pleasure to meet you. I trust Dehya with my life.
Oh, so you've already become like one of us then? Well, that's good to know. Anyway, since we've got a newcomer, let me fill you in on what the Khan al-Ahmar's been up to lately. They've become extremely aggressive. Apparently, even their own now have become acceptable targets. They even attack other relics brigades, just the same as any other mercenary brigade.
Wow, they even attack each other. That's funny. I mean, sorry, that's depressing.
Even the most ferocious beasts still protect their own. And it sounds like they've thrown that straight to the wind.
That's right. Once they've collected enough loot off the other mercenaries, they sell it off to a different brigade, or turn to merchants on the black market. A portion of their profits is immediately exchanged for more food and weaponry to be used in their next violent operation.
That's terrible!
Yeah, and it really makes you wonder why they're so desperate for Mora.
Please tell me Dory has nothing to do with this.
A few days ago, Isham and I trailed them for a while, and even disguised ourselves as merchants to conduct trade with them. We were able to learn a few things from the exchange. Rather than saying they're out to plunder and hoard Mora, it'd probably be more accurate to say that they're experiencing an internal power struggle.
Wait, a power struggle?
Dehya, I think your dad is dead or dying.
You heard me right. The vast majority of their victims are mercenaries from the other brigades of Deshret's relics. If their only goal was Mora, they could have gone after anybody. The targeted nature of their attacks points to a power struggle between the different brigades within the relics. That's the only plausible explanation we have.
That's a pretty good theory.
Unfortunately, we weren't able to find out anything more specific. It seems they're also trying to keep things under wraps.
Well, if it is a power struggle, they don't want anyone to appear weak.
Oh, one last thing we discovered was that over the past few years, as the Khan al-Ahmar became more and more active, Deshret's relics as a whole became a lot weaker.
They were able to cause so much damage that somehow makes things even more confusing.
It sounds mighty strange to me, too. Haroon, you can leave the rest of the investigation to us. Gotta say, though, I didn't expect you to go on a whole undercover mission during the few days I was gone. Sounds like you were really putting your necks on the line, no?
Nah, it was nothing. We're just as concerned about the situation as you are. The Khan al-Ahmar is your father's crew after all.
What he said. Besides, Dehya, haven't you done more dangerous things than all of us combined? What we did is nothing compared to your experiences.
Yeah. And while they went to talk with Khan al-Ahmar, I took a look at the last camp they attacked. Any survivors of the attack were already long gone. There was nothing of value left in the camp.
Ah, Hisham and Khalaf. You're here too.
We rushed over as soon as we saw you come into Caravan Rebat.
Were they in Dia's character story? In the trailer, I think I recognized at least one of them.
Although this new friend of yours looks a little green behind the ears, I'm sensing a special vibe from him. Now that we know you'll have a capable partner with you, we can also rest easy.
Hey, what about Paimon? Feel anything special?
You're magical.
Oh, you're also planning to tag along with them?
Of course! Paimon is the traveler's most important guide. Wherever he goes, Paimon will follow.
Paimon can stop time. Paimon is unimaginably powerful.
Oh. In that case, then you'd better take care of her too, Dehya.
Don't underestimate Paimon!
Don't worry about her. She may look tiny and helpless, but she's been through just as many battles as the traveler here.
-1.
Even if she had only survived on sheer luck, then that alone would still make her quite formidable.
Damn. Paimon getting some praise.
I had no idea. I guess I shouldn't judge by appearances.
No idea. Eh?
Oh, one other thing, Dehya. When you're free, why don't you update the deputy about your upcoming schedule? We held another recruitment event a few days ago, but everyone only came to see the Flame Main. You weren't around at the time, so people were pretty disappointed to only find our crew of rough, unkempt guys. The deputy put a lot of effort into the event, but it was basically for nothing. Only a few people chose to stay, and that really got to him.
Sorry to hear that. I'll be sure to bring him some great liquor next time. I left in a hurry and I couldn't make it back in time for the event.
Gotta admit, I can understand their disappointment, though. You're our brigade's main selling point, after all. Now, if only the deputy could figure out a way to bring a few more smoking hot members into our ranks.
Oh god, this is a fucking reverse harem, isn't it?
Keep dreaming. Remember the last time I invited a couple gals into the brigade? You all just froze up with your mouths gaping like a bunch of scarecrows.
Oof. I didn't expect them to be a bunch of people who were incapable of talking to women.
The awkward silence and weird expressions left quite the impression on them. They were originally interested in joining us, but after that, they both told me they were too uncomfortable to stick around.
Hey, didn't we agree to never bring that up again?
Yeah, and let's please never do.
Huh? Wait, are you serious? Why have I never heard about this?
I don't think you were part of the brigade yet.
Are you kidding me? I missed a once-in-a-lifetime moment like that and you weren't even gonna tell me?
I don't think they ever would have told you. That sounds embarrassing as all fuck.
All right. We can tell you about it later. Now's not the time.
Damn it, I forgot. We're supposed to, every time we meet a new female character, we're supposed to go, "You smell great," just to make it as awkward as possible. But these guys took that a step further. They just fucking slack-jawed. Like that. Just stared at him. It's so weird. Who does that?
Hey, don't you try to change the subject. You and Hisham get your butts over here and tell me everything right now.
Oh boy. We're gonna expand on it? Oh, they're running! They're running!
Are they always like this?
More or less. There aren't many rules or graces when it comes to mercenaries. We're used to just speaking our minds. If someone starts getting under your skin, you just yell right back at them. And if that doesn't put an end to it, then you just challenge them to a fight. But we also don't tend to take many things too seriously.
Oh my god, they're still chasing him!
Indirect and getting it all out of your system as soon as things come up is better than keeping everything bottled up, never talking about it. That's also why I never spare their feelings when I talk to them. If I want to laugh, I'll laugh. If I'm angry, then I'll unload on them. It's hard to stop once you get used to it. Though, I can never do that when I'm with the Homiyanis. Hey, knuckleheads! Can you at least tell me the rest of the intel before you go back to your bickering?
Yeah, you hear her, Holloff? Told you we gotta focus on the investigation first. I drew up a map. Right here is the spot. There you'll find the merchant caravan responsible for getting rid of Khan al-Ahmar's looted goods. All you gotta do is wait and ambush them in the evening. They'll have no idea what hit them.
Perfect. Thanks for that. Be sure to pass my regards to everyone else in the brigade as well.
Will do. You stay safe, Dehya. Now, like I said, the two ladies Dehya brought with her were also like super mercs. I'm talking same level as Flame Main here.
Oh. Wait. Oh no.
Oh, you should have seen it. The aura of the two of them when they were standing together, it was incredible. I was just at a loss for words, that's all.
Oh wait, if they're looking for an opening, what if Jet joins the Blazing Brigade? That could actually be a story development we could have for Jet's characters, since all the other Eremite groups think she's just a traitor. Dehya would probably give her a fair shot. Especially with someone like the Traveler to vouch for her. God, I hope things turn out well for Jet.
Ah, so pathetic.
Hey! Shut up!
These guys are fucking... fucking dweebs.
Let the show begin.
I'm a big dweeb, and these guys are fucking... What's the term? These guys are bigger losers than I am. Where's the deputy? Oh, I thought we were going to talk to the deputy. I guess we're just going straight to the... Wow, that's so far out of the way. We're going to go ambush a caravan at night, I guess. I wonder what the big flashy cutscene that we're going to get at the end of this mission is going to be about. Because it seems to be the trend lately. Every time that there's a character story quest, there's usually a big flashy cutscene at the end.
I'll catch up.
This should be the place. Let's find a spot to hide and bide our time.
Under that tree branch or behind it should be good.
It's gonna come down to a fight one way or another, so let's all be careful.
No need to worry. He knows his way around a fight.
Yeah, we've defeated gods and dragons and sea gods.
I'm not worried about that. What I meant is that we probably shouldn't go too hard on the enemy. After all, we still need to get information out of them.
Also, I guess an Archon at one point. Oh, and a Harbinger. Yeah, we also fought a Harbinger. 2 Harbingers. It's a good thing Paimon can advance time.
Ah, here they come. You ready? Let's not give them a chance to react and end this quickly.
What's with this pose? Is this going to be the part where... Yeah! Why does she have a signature weapon? I kind of missed that she was using the Merc's Faithful, or whatever it was called. Old Merc's pal. Okay, let's take a look at what we got to work with. Stalwart and true. When her HP is less than 40, she recovers 20% of her max HP. And restores 6% of her max HP every 2 seconds. Over the next 10 seconds, occurs every 20 seconds. Unstinting Sucker. Within 6 seconds, Dehya receives Fiery Sanctum Field through the Molten Inferno Raging Flame or Leonid Bite. She'll gain 60% less damage when receiving damage from Redmane's blood. This effect will be triggered, and Redmane's blood is the Inferno effect. Holy fuck, that's a lot of text. Only one Fiery Sanctum created by Dehya herself can exist at the same time. Oh boy. Oh, she's 669 though. Leonid Bite. Talent +3. Unleashing the burning anger and casting her inconvenient blade aside, Dehya enters the Blazing Lion state. In a state, deal pyro damage, duration, skill attributes. Flame main fist damage, 167.8% attack plus 2.88% max HP. So HP, she scales slightly with HP, which is weird. She scales with attack and HP. She sounds like a hard character to build. Smiles.
Let's get it on! Ha!
Propagate!
Don't blink.
Gonna off field. Ow.
Nowhere to hide. Leave it all to me, as a good knight should.
No more tricks up your sleeve. Love the jungle.
Oh. Let's dance.
You
Ha!
this one.
Scatter!
Speed of light.
Talk to Satar.
You're the Flame Main.
Good. That saves me an introduction. All right, time for a little talk. Are you buddies with Dakana Lakmar now? Tell me, what are they after?
You know the code of being a mercenary just like everyone else. The first rule is to never divulge key information about our employer. What makes you think I'd talk?
That might have worked on an amateur, but I know you're just looking to protect your reputation. Think about it, though. What's your reputation worth if you won't have the other tools you need to succeed in this line of work? Tools like, I don't know, your limbs or eyes? You've got 5 seconds. You might want to think twice about how much your employer's information is worth to you.
God, now I'm just remembering that she almost sacrificed her arm at one point to prove a point earlier in the fucking Archon quest.
Whoa!
It's alright, Paimon. She knows what she's doing.
I'm not joking around. We can do this the easy way or the painful way.
Ooh, I'm gonna start saying that from now on. The easy way or the painful way.
2 seconds.
I'll save you the trouble.
Oh fuck, he cyanide pilled himself.
Huh? Are you crazy? He tried to bite off his own tongue. Quick, search the area for any first aid supplies.
I have to use my molars
Definitely
because
didn't
my
expect him
teeth
to
don't
go
touch
that
here.
far. Thankfully, the wound wasn't too deep. He just passed out from the pain.
But why would he be so extreme?
I just wanted to test his mettle. You can get a lot of mercenaries to talk just by threatening them. I didn't expect him to be willing to go through so much pain just to deny us some intel.
Well, he's out cold for now. We could wait for him to wake up, but maybe it's not a good idea to interrogate him any further. What should we do?
Yeah, don't worry about it. It'll be a waste of time to interrogate him again after that. He might just hurt himself again if we start asking. There are lots of goods around here. Let's search the area. Maybe we'll be able to find something. I'm really sorry.
Ugh. Satara is not gravely injured and will probably wake up soon. Should be okay to leave him here for a little while. Boop. There are a lot of daily necessities like food and water in the boxes. It doesn't seem like they're anything noteworthy. There's some weapons in the boxes and a bunch of medicine and bandages. It seems like Dakan al-Akmar is up to no good. Or they're just getting food and supplies.
We found a piece of paper with a bunch of names on it. Maybe it's a record of something.
Let me take a look. If this really is a merchant caravan, they should have a record of their transactions. Yep. I see an entry for Dakan al-Akmar right here. Kusela, Idrisi, Bashar, and Takriti. All familiar names. Dakan al-Akmar has been trading for a hefty supply of food, weapons, and medicine. It seems that in the past, they used to receive some canned knowledge as well. This caravan is just one link in their logistics chain. Once in the rainforest, the caravan will exchange the looted goods for Mora, and the funds will then be passed to a specific person. That person will then pack the caravan full of necessary goods, which will then be brought right back to Dakan al-Akmar. Wait, why is there no Mora value recorded for the final transaction?
No value?
They must be getting something in exchange. But what?
Yeah. Every transaction before the last one was marked with an exact amount of Mora, but the final one, where they paid for everything to be brought back to the desert, was simply marked as delivered.
Maybe the Mora amounts just happen to cancel each other out?
Perhaps. But they couldn't have known how much they would make off selling the loot. Do they not care about profit margins at all?
They might be trying to crush some other organization. It's something that you saw with Amazon early on. They would undersell their competitors at a massive loss until their competitors could no longer afford to compete. And then once their competitors are gone, they hike up the price. It's a very shady problem that makes me really hate capitalism.
Anyway, the next part's the records of the goods themselves. There are a lot of entries. Everything was probably sourced from the rainforest. Huh?
What'd you find?
What's wrong?
Shazamon Homayani?
Huh.
Homayani? You mean Dunyarzad's family? Could it just be another family with the same last name?
God, I hope so.
I'd be surprised to find someone with the exact same first and last name. Shazamon Homayani is Dunyarzad's father, and the head of the Homayani family. Just what the heck is going on here?
Calm down, Dehya. Let's analyze the situation first.
I'm sorry. You're right. I'll consider what we found and not jump to conclusions just yet.
He's definitely involved, or he might be the target.
But what this piece of paper confirms is that the Homayani family has been providing goods to Dakan al-Akmar.
That's super weird, though, if that's the case.
What if the Homayanis have been kept in the dark and don't know they've been trading with Dakan al-Akmar?
That is a good point, Paimon.
That's a possibility. But if that was the case, Why is this caravan specifically named Shazamon as their person of contact? They could have just as easily bought goods such as food and medicine directly from Caravan Rebot or Port Ormos.
If Shamazan was actually aware of this, then perhaps he's been supplying the brigade's operations the entire time.
Yeah, funding violence and looting. The brigade gets the goods, and he is paid the proceeds from the sale of the loot.
But why would he do something like this? It's not like the Homianis are in need of money.
That being said, Paimon, we don't really know what they do to get money. All we know is that they're wealthy. And in my experience, very few people become wealthy without the exploitation of others.
I honestly have no idea.
See the Bezos example I just gave minutes ago.
I've been to their estate many times, and I've never noticed anything suspicious.
Billionaires shouldn't exist. We're about to have trillionaires soon, and they shouldn't exist either.
The only potentially large expenditure I could think of would be the treatment costs for Dunyarzad's Elazar. Maybe they borrowed a lot of Mora in the past?
Oh, that's right. Could be a blackmail thing.
But that's still just a speculation. I don't think the Master would stoop so low to make Mora.
I don't think Dunyarzad knows anything about this either.
You're probably right. I know my lady's personality, and she wouldn't deliberately keep something like this from us.
But what should we do now? All we found is just another mystery.
If we want to get to the bottom of this, we won't be able to turn back.
If you ask me, we already have no choice but to confront her about this.
Her?
I'm not worried. It's too early to make a verdict yet. I still have faith in the Homiyanis. Let's go find my lady again. We'll tell her everything and see if she's willing to lend us her support. If we're lucky, we can not only figure out the mystery of this paper, but also follow the trail of breadcrumbs to the people responsible at Dakan al-Akmar.
Dehya, are you sure this is the best decision? What if instead of getting the help we need, we just end up revealing everything we've discovered to the enemy?
I've considered that possibility. But even still, I want to tell her what we found. I think I owe her that much. True friendship is built on trust. She showed genuine concern for me when we first brought up the topic. I can't repay her kindness with doubt and suspicion.
That is also true.
That's not how I deal with people.
You're right. Paimon wants to trust Dunyarzad too.
Me too. She's like the best character in the game.
Yeah. Let's pay another visit to Sumeru City.
Shade upon red silk. Annals of the Scarlet Sands. Looks like Dunyarzad's over by that normal hut that she constantly books for us. Yep. Treasure Street. There she is.
We're back, my lady.
Oh, you're back a lot sooner than I expected. You mustn't have run into any trouble then. Well, how did it go? What did you come up with?
Actually, we're still investigating. It's just that we've discovered something strange.
I see. The clues you found have led you back here, in the city?
Something like that. Yeah.
You all look a little dispirited. Whatever you found must not have been very encouraging after all.
She's so perceptive.
Why don't you discuss it with me? Maybe I'll be able to say something to cheer you up?
It's okay, my lady. It's not so much about me being upset with my father or anything like that. How should I put this?
So something is wrong. Even the Traveler and Paimon have been uncharacteristically quiet.
Yeah, Paimon, why are you uncharacteristically quiet?
On any other day, Paimon would have already waved to me with a smile and shouted, "Dunyarzad, we're back!"
Damn it, she knows us too well.
So tell me, what happened?
My lady, please prepare yourself for what we're going to tell you next. It concerns the Master.
The Master? You mean my father? Okay, I understand. Don't worry about me. I'll listen as attentively as I can.
Dehya manages to explain the results of the investigation to Dunyazad.
My father has been supplying goods to Dakan al-Akmar?
At least it seems that way.
Yeah, it makes as little sense to us as it does to you. I've never doubted the Master's integrity, so I'm having a real hard time rationalizing how he could ever support an infamous brigade like them. Maybe he's not actually aware of the full story and just stumbled into the deal by accident.
Feels unlikely, though. No, it's a chance. He has a connection to them through you.
I can't help but agree with the Traveler.
Huh? You mean you feel the same way, Dunyarzad?
I'm pretty sure that he's behind this, but I am willing to entertain any and all possibilities.
Thank you for sharing all this information with me. Since you've told me everything you know, I should also tell you about some doubts that I've been harboring for quite a while. In the past, I thought that my father hired a bodyguard for me so that I wouldn't run away and get lost. However, there are plenty of capable mercenaries in the Corps of 30. Why did my father go out of his way to hire Dehya?
About that. Well, the Homayanis really needed bodyguards, so they reached out to the Blazing Beasts. Later, the Master told me that I was one of the best mercenaries he'd ever seen, and that I should stick around to become one of his bodyguards. He offered me a pile of mora, so I just signed on.
Well, but that didn't really answer my question. Just think about it. Why did my father specifically reach out to the Blazing Beasts?
Because you're the daughter of Dakan al-Akmar's leader.
Maybe the Corps of 30 just didn't have anyone available, or maybe someone recommended us. I've never given it too much thought. I think I get what you're saying. You think none of this was a coincidence.
Yeah.
Precisely. At first glance, nothing seemed strange or out of place. But there are many parts of the story that don't actually make any sense. If my father had always been in contact with Dakan al-Akmar, then it would make sense for him to bring Dehya into our house.
You mean the goal all along was to get Dehya to be your bodyguard?
No, that's too much of a stretch. I cut all ties with my father a long time ago. He has no control over my life anymore.
True, but you might have some control over his. I think he's using you as a bargaining chip. It's like, you want to attack my daughter? Well, then if you want to attack my daughter and threaten my daughter, you threaten yours as well. Something like that.
But that still doesn't rule out the possibility that your father has still been trying to influence your life without you knowing.
Well, that too. It could also just be the father recommended. I don't know.
So the Master was not likely an innocent victim in all of this?
That's what things are looking like at this point. No, you don't have enough evidence to say that yet. It's very likely, though. I'd say it's a non-zero chance. Hell, I'd say it's 50-50 at this point or more.
Sorry we put all of this on you so suddenly, Dunyarzad.
It's okay, Paimon. I should actually be thanking you. Regardless of his reasons, if my father has truly been funding a violent group of mercenaries, then it's my duty to bring him back to reason.
So are we going to meet your father?
But is that really the right thing to do? My father has committed many atrocities and deserves all the punishment that he has coming to him. I have zero sympathy for him. You may call me an ungrateful child, but my feelings will remain the same. However, the Homayani family has treated me with nothing but generosity and kindness. If we decide to investigate this further, we could end up implicating the entire Homayani family. I would be biting the hand that's fed me over all these years.
Dehya.
Yeah, this is bad.
It's alright, Dehya. If anyone were to ask, you could always just say that I'm the one who instructed you to get to the bottom of this.
You don't have to do that, my lady. I'm not conflicted because I'm afraid of taking responsibility. Besides, you're the one we should all be worried about right now.
Should we, though?
Hey, it's still too early to give up hope. What was that thing about friendship again?
True friendship is built on trust.
Right, yeah, trust. You said that yourself, Dehya. Besides, there's no point on getting all riled up before we've confirmed all the facts.
Your trust hasn't been misplaced, then he probably has many conflicting feelings as well.
Thank you, everyone. That makes a lot of sense. I guess I should always remember the trust that I've placed in people. In which case, my lady, could you ask the Master to come out and have a chat with us?
Sure thing. I also hope he'll be able to give us a logical explanation. Let's meet at the usual place then.
Usual place? Ah, right.
Alright. Meet Dunyazad at the usual place. Why do I have a bad feeling about this? No. No. Oh, thank goodness. I was getting some Sub-Zero's festival flashbacks. The bench.
Thank you for coming, sir.
Ah, so this is the father.
Please allow me to introduce these two. This is the Traveler, and next to him is his travel companion, Paimon.
Ah, yes. My daughter has mentioned them from time to time. It's a privilege to finally meet them in person. But we may skip all the pleasantries for now. What is the important matter you wish to discuss with me today?
Well, we wanted to bring this transaction record to your attention. There's something on this record that we're all pretty curious about.
Dehya explains the issue to Shamazan.
So, that's what you found? Huh. Seems like I can't keep everything from you much longer.
If you wouldn't mind, we'd like an explanation.
Well, it's a long and difficult story. And to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure if I'm doing the right thing.
Okay, so he's definitely puzzled.
What I do know, though, Dehya, is that the truth will bring you no solace. If anything, it will likely cause you a great amount of anguish.
Oh, wait, that's right. We don't know about Dehya's mother. What if it has something to do with her?
Wait, me?
Yes, I understand perfectly why you came to see me. And I am touched by your collective commitment to do the right thing. But knowledge always comes at a price. And sometimes, as they say, ignorance is bliss. Your father, Kusela, and I both believed that. Of course, you have the right to seek and learn the truth, but I must warn you. The facts of this matter may reduce everything you've built for yourself into sand, blowing in the wind. If you must proceed, then Kusela's heartfelt efforts will also fade into the wind like a fleeting mirage.
His heartfelt efforts? I'm sorry, sir, but I'm not sure I follow.
So is it my theory from earlier? Is he trying to destroy Deshret's relics from within, at the great cost to himself and others?
I've made it this far in life without a single drop of my father's support. I have my own ideals and ways of looking at the world, as well as people and causes that I've chosen to cherish and fight for. None of these things have anything to do with him. I came here today to support you as the head of the Homayani family. No warning will change my stance on that.
I understand. Then let me tell you a little story. Our family once needed to take a trip to the desert when Dunyazad was just a baby. Along the way, we were attacked by bandits. They had superior numbers and quickly overpowered our bodyguards. When all seemed lost, a group of passerby Eremites lent us their support. Those Eremites were Kusela's brigade, Dekan al-Ahmar. Kusela's men told me that the attackers were Eremite mercenaries, just like themselves. I was shocked. Why would Dukan al-Ahmar go so far to save us and not spare the fellow Eremites? Kusela was grinning and walked over to play with baby Dunyazad. She was startled by his unfamiliar face and nearly started crying.
Really? I never knew.
He said that he had no particular reason to help us. He just took pity on us because he had a daughter about the same age. We started talking about our children, and I sensed that he was a devoted father. To repay his kindness, I hired his brigade to help out at our estate for a time, and offered everyone generous remuneration.
So, that's what happened.
It was many years before I saw him again. I almost didn't recognize him the next time he came knocking on my door. The man I knew to be strong and healthy had been reduced to a shell of himself. He couldn't even walk anymore without his cane.
So, what happened to him? He was perfectly fine when I left the brigade.
I'm not too sure myself. The only thing that didn't change was his cheery disposition. He said there was absolutely nothing to worry about and that he had gotten into a fight. That was all. He then suddenly asked me if Dunyazad, now that she had grown, would need a bodyguard of her own. At the time, Dunyazad was going through a particularly severe bout of her Elazar. There was no need for her to have a bodyguard when she could barely leave the house. But he kept coming back to the topic. Come on, it never hurts to be safe. How do you know a bodyguard won't come in handy one day? I was completely lost at first, until he recommended the Blazing Beasts, and in particular, a mercenary named Dehya.
Uh-huh.
So he was the one who recommended Dehya to you.
We had a hunch that that was it.
Indeed. He didn't say it out loud, but it was clear that he saw Deshret's relics as an evil group who would eventually corrupt every member in their ranks. He was already beyond redemption, but he hoped that he would be able to detach his daughter from the vicious world of mercenary life. If Dehya could stay in my house and keep working as a bodyguard, then gradually her affinity for the desert would decrease, and she'd be able to leave her previous life behind.
And that's why you offered her such generous compensation?
Yes, but not just because of that. From the moment that he asked me for that favor, I also began to see Dehya as my own daughter. And that's also why I tried to persuade you to stay when you asked for permission to leave. I was willing to spend however much it took. Kusela saved my daughter and I all those years ago in the desert. I could never refuse him entrusting his daughter to me.
He was always like that, acting like he's oh so smart and self-righteous.
Really? That doesn't sound like it matches the description we got from you earlier.
Kusela said that he'd reimburse me for a portion of Dehya's fees. I refused to take any mora from him, but he'd always sent me funds anyway.
And that explains the zeroed out payment on the sheet.
Eventually, I just accepted them as a token of his gratitude. And that went on for a while until I received another letter from him a few years ago. The letter contained a request to help him buy food, weapons, medicine, and even explosive materials.
Wait, isn't that around the time that Dukan al-Ahmar started becoming more aggressive?
That's right. When I started to hear some nasty rumors, I became wary. I wanted to meet him face to face to discuss things. But by then, he was no longer receptive to my requests to talk. If I had to guess, it's probably because he doesn't want to put Dehya at risk.
But at the same time, he should have also stopped asking you for materials.
That thought occurred to me as well. I figured that he probably came to me for help because he had nobody else to turn to.
He might be dead and somebody else is taking advantage of this connection.
After some deliberation, I decided to send him some food and medicine. I turned down all his requests for explosives and weaponry. I am aware that even such a reduced gesture of support could lead to others coming to harm, but I could not simply reject his plea for help. In the end, it probably was the wrong decision. I plugged my ears to the rumors and just chose a solution that made me feel least guilty about myself.
I've never looked inside the sleeve of any of these characters like this. It's just a solid void, or like a detached hand.
If you can, please tell me where he is now. None of the things he's doing right now make any sense if he's just trying to keep me from getting tangled up in his world. If all he wants to do is steer clear of me, then maybe he shouldn't have brought me into this world in the first place.
Oh no. Dehya, please don't feel that way.
I'm just angry because I can't wrap my head around any of his actions.
Maybe there's another way of looking at all this. Can you try to believe in him just one more time?
Another way? I don't know. I knew him, and he was nothing more than a childish brute. I can't understand what's going through his head. But I guess you do have a point. We haven't uncovered the whole truth yet. We still need to figure out his exact actions and reasoning for these last few years.
And what the Brigade found out about a power struggle might be right. It might be infighting leading to all this aggression.
I'll do my best to help. Of course, anything between the two of you would need to be resolved between you and him alone. I don't know Kusela's exact whereabouts. Outside of supplying his brigade with some goods, I tried my best to avoid getting involved any further with him. However, there's a man on the list named Jawed. He used to be a mercenary in the desert and is now a member of the Corps of 30. He's responsible for supplying weapons and liaising with the Dekhan al-Akhmar's merchant caravan. I think he should know Kusela's whereabouts.
Interesting.
I've heard that he likes to have a few drinks alone and enjoy the cool wind at night outside the tavern. Maybe you'll be able to find him there.
Understood. Thank you, sir. Then I guess this is bye for now, unless...
I'll stay and be with my father here. To be honest, I'm still a little dazed and haven't finished processing everything quite yet. My father has indeed done something wrong, but if I think about it, I'm also not sure if there was a right way to handle this problem.
I think he did the best he could, but I'm not really sure.
I feel like our only course of action is to turn everything we know over to the Corps of 30 and let them render judgment.
Yes. I am prepared to accept whatever verdict they choose.
The Corps of 30? Not the Matra?
It's time to face my mistakes.
Don't you remember your adventure plans, my lady?
Welcome. I hope you'll have a wonderful day. There are so many local specialties in Sumeru. I want to buy more.
Alright, let's look. Alright, let's see. It's getting dark. Nighttime starts at like 19, right? So we're looking for a Corps of 30 member, right? Oh! I took his chair. I'm psychic.
Huh? Who are you guys?
I know what you've been up to. Smuggling weapons to violent brigades in the desert while working for the Corps? Pretty bold, if you ask me.
Shh. Keep your voice down. How do you know all that? Come with me. We should take this elsewhere. I'll be happy to talk things over once we're somewhere private.
Back to the bench.
This place should do.
Oh.
Alright. Back to my question. How did you all know about me?
Don't worry about that for now. You know what kind of punishment you'll face once we report you to the Corps, I assume.
Wait. There's no need to jump the gun. Let's talk this out. What are your terms?
So what's in it for you anyway, Mora?
Well, I was a little tight on money at the time, and Kusela took good care of me in the past. I weighed it in my mind, and I couldn't find a reason to turn the opportunity down. I wouldn't only be helping my benefactor, but I could also make some quick Mora.
Let me tell you how it is. We're investigating Dekhan al-Akmar, and we're gonna put an end to their operations. If you provide some help for us, then we might just put in a good word later to reduce the terms of your punishment.
Hey, why don't we discuss this a little first? Listen, I made quite a bit of Mora from my last run. You just give me a number, and I'm sure we can...
Shut it.
We just want to know where Kusalia is.
My patience is running out. You should know when a mercenary is after something other than money.
All right, sheesh. But you gotta promise you'll put in some nice words for me later. They're always on the move. Here's the spot they were at the last time I made my delivery to the desert. Feel free to go have a look. I'm just telling you though, it's not on me if they're not there anymore.
Sure. And then you can forget about any nice words from us.
Hey, come on. Now you're just being unreasonable.
Really? And how do I know you're not leading us straight into a trap? Don't forget, you're the one with no bargaining chips.
All right, I get it. Why don't you go take a look, and if they're not there anymore, I'll try to figure out something else for y'all.
Now that's more like it. Let's move.
Well, he got the message.
And as for you, try to stick around the city until we get back. You don't want us to call the folks from the Corps and have them drag you back to the city.
Don't worry. I'm not going anywhere.
Alright, where are we going? To the desert. Wow, that's far. It's actually by a waypoint I've never been to before. That's so far. You delivered weapons out here? Without anybody catching on? Oh my gosh. That's so crazy. We've been going for about an hour, which means we're probably 2/3 of the way through this story mission. Let's go this way. Mine 10 items. All right. I got time to deal with you.
Feeling lucky today.
Someone needs assistance.
Ugh, this is so far to travel in the middle of the night.
I'll protect us.
What just happened?
Seems like we're in luck. That should be their camp right up ahead. Let's go. We'll finally get to the bottom of this ourselves. I'm here to see Kusela. Tell him to get out here.
Dehya,
Dehya,
Takriti.
why are you here?
Buckle up!
Let the show begin.
Where do you think you're going?
Hi. Go, Barbara, go! Yeah. Hi.
Let's get it on! Haven't you all done enough?
Ritzy and Bashar.
So are you also here to stop us?
Stay out of this. It's got nothing to do with you.
Let's dance.
Take my lead.
Scatter!
Dehya seems fun.
Oh, she's so strong.
Enough fighting. We all know each other, and I don't want to take things too far. Just bring Kusela to me. There's no use hiding him anymore. Did you understand a single word I just said? Or do I need to bash your skull in some more?
All right, everyone, let's all just calm down for a second. Dehya, the boss can't come out and see you anymore. He died a long time ago.
Darn, I was right.
What?
Seems like you've been out of the loop for a while. Guess that's for the best, though. At least, that's what the old man wanted.
When did he die? What happened to him?
A few years ago, Kusela broke up Dakan al-Ahmar and went to the Deshret's Relics headquarters by himself.
So is that when you guys started acting up?
We would prefer to call it taking revenge. Every last person in Deshret's Relics must pay in blood for what they did.
Ooh, I didn't expect that. It's a revenge plot? Cool! So that's why they turned on each other. It was motivated by revenge.
Let me start from the beginning. Dehya, do you know how the head of the Relics maintained order internally?
Overwhelming strength and unquestionable authority?
Those were a part of it, yes. But just those on their own weren't enough. They had another tool at their disposal. They called it a person's record. Regardless of whether they joined by their own will or were coerced, every person in Deshret's Relics were forced to leave a record of themselves at headquarters. Whether it be their deepest sin, some unforgivable act, or their most immoral exploit, the record served both as a symbol of loyalty and the perfect material for blackmail.
So you mean Kusaya thought there was no escaping the records?
That's precisely it. Every one of us have a record. Me, Bashar, Tikriti, and all the boys who grew up with Dehya and ended up joining our ranks. But you, Dehya, you were never asked to provide a record, were you?
I never even knew this was a requirement.
You were probably the only person in all of Deshret's Relics who didn't know about it.
Ever since you were born, Boss had been trying to shield you from this organization's sinister rules. Not only that, but he also banned all of us from committing any nefarious acts. He said he'd take care of the dues we had to pay regularly to headquarters. But in the end, he was just an ordinary person. What could he do? He was forced to go to headquarters again and again to account for missed dues and incomplete records. He'd come up with all kinds of excuses and get beaten up as a result.
And that's why he has to walk with a cane.
We all knew he was doing that for you. He wanted to get you out of this world, no matter what it took.
And that's why he became a shell of himself and couldn't walk without a cane.
Thank you, Paimon.
Wait, but that doesn't make any sense. I didn't know about any of this, and I'd never seen him get injured or beaten.
Because you were too young at the time. How would you ever tell between wounds from a beating and wounds from battle? When you left home after that final argument with him, he seemed to age by a decade overnight. Even his hair went gray.
Yikes.
So, even the blazing beasts were...
Yep. It was all his doing. Had he not arranged them to come to you, you probably would have been reduced to a pulp before you ever left the desert.
A few years ago, Boss said he needed to make another trip to headquarters. He was already pretty weak then, and we all assumed he was going to get beaten again. I suggested that he hand the role of leadership over to me, but he said there was no longer any need, since the Khan al-Ahmar would soon be no more. His words made no sense to me, but that night, we heard that a massive fire tore through headquarters and razed everyone's records to ash.
Holy shit.
Everyone gained their freedom that night. Many members fled, not just from our ranks, but from the other brigades as well. But how could we leave with a clear conscience? All of us who knew exactly what had happened.
The boss can't have just died for nothing. Those heartless jerks at headquarters took him from us.
From that point on, the sole purpose of the Khan al-Ahmar became revenge. The big fire that Boss started was quite a blow to headquarters' strength. It's given us the opportunity to launch our attack. Even though we're outnumbered, we vowed to see our revenge through to the very end.
But Deshret's relics haven't been the only victims of your revenge.
There were people from headquarters who changed their names and went into hiding. Some fled to other brigades, and others escaped to the rainforest. But we won't let any of them escape our wrath. They'll all pay for what they've done.
So they're targeting specific people. It's not that they're hitting civilians. Interesting.
We've suffered plenty of losses as well. To keep going, we need an enormous amount of supplies. From food and medicine to weaponry and explosives. All we can do is exchange our loot from Mora, and then use that to get supplies.
That explains why they're just spending the fucking loot on supplies.
We forged Boss's handwriting and sent out many letters to his former friends. Thankfully, many people were willing to come to our aid. We were also able to attract many mercenaries who shared our goal. We've endured unspeakable pain to win many impossible battles. Deshret's relics have become weaker and weaker, and now we finally have an opportunity to directly strike their headquarters.
Paimon doesn't know what to say anymore.
That's like one of the theories I said. They're destroying it from within. Responding to violence with more violence will only cause more pain. Do you have any idea the amount of damage you've done?
We do know right from wrong, but we were sinners from the very beginning. We do not deserve the freedom that the boss won for us with his life. Boss always loved his old-fashioned hero stories. Those tales about sacrificing yourself to save the world. We used to always laugh at him for it. But in the end, he really went and lived those stories out himself. As for me, I never considered myself a hero. We're all the lowest of the low. We have no right to even imagine such an existence. But maybe those hero stories he liked foreshadowed everything that was to come. The spirit of the hero touched all those he had saved, and more people joined his cause. Maybe we were all just acting along with the play in the beginning. But as we acted the parts and recited the lines, we were drawn in. And now, we want to see the story through to the end. I'm sorry, Dehya. I know you always found us insufferable ever since you were young. Just think of this as a madman ranting.
I'll go with you.
Huh? Dehya? You wanna go with them?
I want to join in. This sounds like fun. Let's stop a huge blackmailing ring. Sounds like a good thing.
I grew up with these guys, and I know they're not bad people. It's just that some situations get so bad that it's difficult to tell good from evil.
This is a very morally gray situation.
All I know is that Deshret's relics must be destroyed. Furthermore, I want to go see the place for myself. I want to know if my father is still there.
That too.
I know you don't want to get involved in this, so there's no need for you to tag along. I can do this on my own.
I'm on your side. Now I made a promise to turn your side to support you. Yeah.
Yeah. it if we don't see this through to the end.
Thank you. We'll be a lot stronger together with you.
I bet Boss would lose his mind if he ever knew you'd join us at the very last moment like this.
Considering all the losses and injuries we sustained, we can't afford to turn down someone as powerful as you.
He can think whatever he wants. But the fact is, I owe him this much.
The Annals of Scarlet Sands. Sincerity's Facade.
I guess it all comes down to this.
What a bummer. I just had to get injured now, right before the final fight. Be sure to punch one of them for me, huh?
I can't believe they voiced these people. Alright, before we go... get this last waypoint out of the way. Huh. Their headquarters is all the way over there. It's like north of Kajnasut. Made it. Up and over. That's Kajnasut right there. Man, people gotta always build their bases out in the middle of fuck off nowhere. At least there's some sort of structure
Is
to
this
this.
the entrance? We sure didn't run into much trouble on the way here.
Should be. I don't think they have enough manpower left to post guards and defend their perimeters.
Bygone glories past. I have a feeling we're going to be given Dehya, so we'll just run in with this. I love it when they give you the character for a large portion of the mission you play through.
Wow. look like this on the inside.
They should all be holed up in here. Don't know how many people they've got left, though.
Who cares? We'll round up all of them.
Still, we should be careful. Even if they've only got one shot left, it could still take us out.
I've fought through situations like this before. Yeah, we completely eliminated the Tanit. They don't exist anymore.
Yeah, we'll know what they're really capable of once we've landed some hits on them.
Now I'm remembering that fucking Descend video that came out recently. Average mission in Sumeru. Kill everyone in a village.
Deshret's relics may have been a force to be reckoned with before, but their name means nothing now.
Yeah, they don't stand a chance with you here. I'll take the lead. They've been here once before.
Oh wow, we have the whole gang here.
You are not welcome here. Where do you think you're?
Propagate!
Don't blink. With sword comes shadow.
Take that!
Look alive! Incoming.
Regret.
Lead the way. Oh,
Where do you think you're going?
I love it when we get NPCs that help out. It's always fun and flavorful.
Speed of light.
I'll be back.
Let's get it on!
Hi.
Gloves off!
Germinate!
I'm getting sick of this game. Let's dance. As a dutiful maid woman.
This one.
Buckle up!
There we go.
This way, follow me. We're almost there.
Rah! I feel like we need an underlining score to make this feel more
They
epic.
went charging ahead without checking for any traps.
Hey, you guys okay?
It seems like we just got trapped in here. Don't think we triggered anything else.
Watch out, the enemy's coming from ahead.
Well, now that things have come to this, seems we'll have to fight our way through.
Don't worry about us. We knew something like this could happen. Go and take a look around. There could still be another way through. Let's go! We can't let the boss down!
Let's check if there's another way. The sooner we can make it through to help them, the better.
Let's see. I think I see a way through over there, but it's being blocked by something. Let's try our luck with that mechanism.
Okay, let's go.
That doesn't sound good. Alright. Just the height. Okay, that's a new puzzle. Really?
Let the show begin. Incoming.
Look alive!
Die, please.
Another mechanism like the one before, but this one's being blocked off in the middle.
We just need to adjust it a little.
Alright. No, I meant to lower it. That looks like that's where we're going.
Buckle up! With sword comes shadow. Speed of light.
Let's get it on!
Incoming. Hey!
Active camouflage.
Don't blink.
Scatter!
Nowhere to hide.
I feel like we should have met up with them by now.
Look alive!
Propagate!
Speed of light. Hi. Don't blink.
You're dead meat!
With sword comes shadow. Hi. I must leave no stone unturned. Yeah.
Really?
I'll catch up.
Oh. There we go. That was easy. What the fuck are they?
I'll catch up.
Oh, here we go. This looks like the main chamber.
I wasn't expecting anyone to make it through from the other side. But as a desert dweller, I suppose we should be used to our folks defying all expectations.
Can you step back or forward a bit? The sun's in my eyes.
Don't waste your breath. You have nowhere to run.
Run? Had I wanted to run, I would have fled 1,000 times already. I witnessed the golden age of Deshret's relics. Even if I could leave this place behind, all that awaits me now are endless days of humiliation and ruin.
This is the big bad? He does have a beard.
Even now, my brothers and I still believe in one thing. The greatest should never live to remember their fall.
So you want to go out in a blaze of glory?
Let us draw our weapons! We will show them the true power King Deshret bestowed upon his followers. They are but two, while we hold within ourselves the entirety of the relic's glory. Wave 1, charge! Eliminate them!
Let's get it on!
Steady as stone, as a good knight should.
I wish that procced more often, but it does look like it can proc on multiple enemies at once.
Speed of light.
Look alive!
Someone needs assistance.
Propagate! Where do you think you're going?
Ha! Gloves off!
Don't think that we're just getting started.
Hazama. Shaw and Hazama.
Nowhere to hide. Don't blink.
Let's get it on!
Testing my patience.
Hey!
Let's end this now!
Look alive!
Germinate! Is that all you've got?
King Deshret will not abandon any one of his followers.
Buckle up! You asked for it!
Die! Punch everything!
Time to clean up.
Brothers! With me, this is where we prove our faith.
Oh, so you're Hazama.
Do you all just want to die?
None of us plan to leave this place alive!
With sword comes shadow.
Stretch your wings and raise a storm!
Your sacrifice is ready.
Where do you think you're going?
This is so chaotic.
Propagate!
Hi! You're dead meat! Goodbye. But we'll meet again.
Go, Barbara, go!
Slumber.
Golden Slumber. What a nice reference.
The commander has finally fallen.
But they're still coming at us! This place is like a gladiator's ring. They just keep coming no matter how many we beat.
Yes, keep fighting! There's no need to fear, and no need to back down! This is our last stand!
When the next wave comes, try to draw away their attacks. I'm going to see if I can take out that high platform.
Get out of my way!
Hey, they made it.
Come and face me, Michel! Ugh, so they've broken through the front as well.
Apologies, Lord Michal. They fight like absolute madmen. No matter how much we throw at them, they just keep coming for more.
So, it would seem like this is the end.
Time to pay for everything you've done, Mitchell.
You think I would give you that opportunity? I will be buried in the sand alongside all the rest of our fading glory.
Oh no, this place has a self-destruct like that other temple from Sino's story, doesn't it?
Hey, wait!
What just happened?
We were too late.
It's over. There's no more need to fight. But if you're still going to cling on to your so-called mercenary's pride, then I'll give you all a good beating as well.
Hesitant mercenary.
Hey, Dehya! I found the mechanism. I'll get you all back up here right away.
He just walked off and died. Did he bite his tongue too?
Let's go.
That was just a fun fight. It's really nice to have like 5 people in the party that you can switch between. A lot of crazy stuff happens.
Keep going.
Who are you filthy rats? And why are you always pestering us?
You call yourself a member of the infamous Deshret's relics, and you still can't even tell who's made it all the way to your headquarters?
Who knows what intent a bunch of rats may have? We try to catch a couple, and you all just show up on the other side instead. How are we supposed to figure out what you're after? Hey, have you ever heard of a man by the name of Kusela? Why would I know? It's not like I'm in charge or anything.
This is your last chance to talk.
Hey, I said I don't know anything. I'm just an average member here. I'm telling the truth. If you're here to find someone, why don't you look through the records yourselves? Who can remember every name and face with so many people coming in and out every day?
The irony. His life became a light for so many, yet to others, it wasn't even worth remembering. Where's the records room? Answer me!
It's right over there. All the files are in there. You can go through them as much as you want. It's not like any of them still matter anyway.
I mean the old records room.
The old records room? You mean the one that got burned down? Kusela. Ah, yeah, I remember him now. The guy who could hardly walk. Watch your mouth. That's our boss you're talking about. He was definitely faking it. We all let our guard down as soon as we saw him come hobbling in.
Oh my god, it was all a sham? That's hilarious.
But in the short time it supposedly took him to take a dump, he'd already gotten away and started a fire in the records room. He couldn't have possibly outrun us if he wasn't a fraud. And after that, Deshret's relics fell into complete disarray.
Stop wasting our time. Every one of us here is perfectly aware of what he had done.
Why do I have a feeling that Mishal is actually Kusalia?
Tell me, where is the old records room?
It's just over there. Go see it for yourself if it means that much to you. There's nothing left in there but ashes. No human could ever survive that kind of inferno. Bashar, Tikriti, let's go. We'll leave the others here to guard these guys. Spare them no mercy if they try anything.
He didn't run away, did he?
I've already told you everything I know. Can't you just leave me alone?
Where's Mishal? That's him right there. What is on the other side of that? Oh, here it is. Alright. Show me the ashes.
So, this was his final destination.
They literally let him go to the bathroom and he burned down half of their records.
How did he do it? Getting past all the guards with a limp and sneaking in here to start a fire? If he was nimble enough to do that, then he must have been able to get out of here after starting the fire, right?
Unless he wanted to sacrifice himself.
Dehya.
He's gone. Let's just accept that and move on.
I'm sorry. I know it's just wishful thinking. Let's look around. Maybe we can find something that's been left behind.
And if not, I hope we get his cane as a sword at some point. Because that looked like a pretty cool design for a cane. There it is.
Is this a cane? It must be the one that Dehya's father used.
Kusela.
Thanks for everything, boss.
We're fortunate to somehow find that cane after that fire.
Let's split up and look around some more. What if something else has been left behind?
But what else could survive a fire like that?
Huh?
Gold? Ooh, cutscene. It's the toy sword, isn't it? It is a sword!
Thought so.
Who? What?
Wait! Isn't that the toy sword you played with as a child?
The dragon is no more, for Princess Dehya has slain it. Its head now hangs above the city gates. Her bravery has brought eternal peace and prosperity to us all. Dehya, come on. This is the most important line.
You can do it.
She had that little hairstyle even then.
You defeated the dragon. Everyone's waiting for your speech.
That's adorable.
Still too shy, huh? All right, I'll do it. I hereby proclaim our victory. Evil shall plague us no more.
You get a chance. You get a second chance at the speech.
I hereby proclaim our victory.
Her voice is shaking.
Evil shall plague us no more, Dad.
The cane was a sword. The whole story was shared with the core authority. The members of the Desert's relics were brought to justice. The authorities, the cane that once belonged to Kusaya, the Desert is now part of her inheritance. Dehya is now completely silent on the way back to Sumeru City. Cool. Did I miss anything there? I think I read it all. Whew. And Dakan El Akbar turned themselves in. Oh, that's what I missed. So I guess it isn't an Eremite problem, so I guess it makes sense the core of 30 would resolve this.
What's this?
Got you some snacks and drinks, all in Paimon's tab.
Don't you remember? You asked Paimon what she would do if she were to wake up tomorrow with loads of money. And Paimon said that she would get boatloads of tasty snacks. You looked super confused at the time, but said it was an adorable thing to say. These opportunities don't come by often. So today, Paimon's gonna treat you to a special crash course on Paimon's life philosophy.
She rarely spends her allowance on other people. It's really my treat, but you get the point.
Hey, come on! Paimon's not that stingy.
I'm willing to bet that what Paimon actually is just a piñata, that if we smack her hard enough with a bat, explodes into a bunch of Mora.
Anyway, the point is that you should eat to your heart's content. You'll feel better for sure once you've gotten something in your tummy. Dunyarzad will also be here shortly. She's already heard that we're back.
Aw, thanks you two. Honestly, this is very unlike me. I just had a lot on my mind on our way back, so I didn't know what to say. My chest was filled with all kinds of intense emotions. They just shook me even more than all the feelings we've shared during our previous adventures. But when everything came to an end, those emotions also vanished without a trace, and I was left feeling more empty than ever before. It was as if I'd lost the thing that was most important to me.
Everything just happened so fast.
Yeah, you're right. To many mercenaries, Mora is the most important thing in the world. But perhaps to us, it's the most worthless thing of all. Idrisi and the others all used to say that they would quit if there was no Mora to be had. But when it came to avenging my father, there was no Mora to be made anywhere. My reality shattered when I found out that the father who always told me hero stories was in fact a bad guy. But look at me now. Am I any different? Despite all my promises about never forgiving him and never trying to understand him, I still went to such lengths to find out the truth, and nearly even shed tears for his sake. We're hypocrites, all of us.
You should never question your true feelings, though.
Yeah, you're right. It's just a pity that we often only recognize our true feelings after it's already too late.
You're back! Are all of you alright?
Ah, there she is.
Yeah. Many people from the Corps of 30 came over, and I just wrapped up everything with my dad. All I can do now is wait for their verdict. Huh? Dehya, you're looking quite down again.
Paimon will explain. A lot happened while we were gone.
Yeah, it turns out her father, this was a fucking plan like 20 years in the making. Holy shit. Once Paimon finishes telling the story, Dehya starts to cry.
I really should have controlled my emotions better. I just...
Let it all out.
It's all right, my lady. You were hurt by all of this as well. Truth be told, I'm starting to feel a little guilty watching you cry like this.
Dehya, your pain must be even worse. You shouldn't need to comfort me.
Hey, don't worry about me. If anything, this whole thing has finally shown me the difference between illusion and reality.
Oh, we didn't get a big cutscene. We got a small little slideshow, now that I think about it.
My father probably thought that people could settle into new lives as long as they moved to a new environment. That thought has even crossed my mind a few times. It's like saying, what's wrong with adapting to a new life?
Nothing.
However, there was always something deep within my mind that refused to accept it. This impulse brought me great turmoil, and even made me feel ashamed for turning my back on your father's kindness. But now that I consider it again, it all makes sense. The desert sands are a part of who I am, and I will never be able to lead a peaceful existence.
I understand how you feel.
That doesn't mean I won't be making any changes to my life, though. As an example, I'm now thinking about taking on some small odd jobs. It's just like Idrisi said. I also want to catch up to my father and become a character in his play. Even if the ending of the story may be childish and ridiculous, it won't really matter.
Isn't that neat, though? Oh, you'll be a whole new kind of mercenary, one that's not out for Mora. Why don't we go for a change of scenery once we finish eating? What about stopping by the Grand Bazaar again?
Right. You said you wanted to get a rug for your family.
We'll come along too.
It's always more fun when everyone's together.
I can't thank you enough for taking care of me this entire time.
Go to the Grand Bazaar to clear your head. I guess we're gonna get the cutscene here then? If we get one at all. To the Grand Bazaar. Oh, everyone's loading in. There's the rug store.
Oh, this rug here is quite something. The craftsmanship is exquisite, and the fabric is also of high quality.
Ah, here you are. Finally, I found you.
Oh, the guy who bit his tongue.
Hey! Aren't you that mercenary who bit his tongue? You can still talk? Wait, are you here to take revenge on us?
What are you talking about? Do I look like I could take you all in a fight? I just came here to give you something. I'll be on my way to give myself up to the Corps after this.
I can't believe this guy's committed to the bit. That's some great voice acting that he's committed to the bit tongue bit.
Once I woke up, I hurried to the Khan al-Ahmar's camp, hoping to alert them to your presence. But when I got there, I found no one except the members who were still too injured to move.
Ah, so you probably got there after us.
Yeah, they told me that they had exacted their revenge, and everyone had turned themselves in to the authorities. Even that last camp was not going to last for much longer. I had joined the cause to repay an old favor from Kusela. Now that everyone's already turned themselves in, I might as well do the same. One of the injured members gave this box to me, and told me that it contained some of the old man's last possessions. Everything left in the camp will get confiscated, so I figured I should get this to you before the Corps could get their hands on it.
Thank you.
No worries. We are all just living our own truths. There's no need to comment or judge anyone for it.
That guy was willing to die for this cause. And he's committing to the bit tongue bit. What's in the box?
So this box contains everything that Dia's father left behind. Huh. It feels lighter than expected.
It's got Gwyneth Paltrow's head in it. I'm going to be very upset.
Well, back in the day, the first thing he did with any Mora was spend it on things like drinks and meat. But let's see what's inside. What's this? It's just a bunch of junk. Ugh, it kinda stinks.
Perhaps it's just been left unopened for too long.
A handwritten copy of a storybook. The paper's already yellowed, and it looks like it's about to fall apart. It was against the Academia's rules to possess books for personal use. If he was going to break that rule, he could have at least copied something useful.
That probably means this was really important to him.
Ah, and here are a few bags of children's snacks. The packaging's completely deteriorated. Maybe that's where the smell was coming from.
Did he get those for you?
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Even when I was a child, I was never a fan of these kinds of snacks. He'd always say that he got them for me, but in the end, he always ate more than I ever did. Who even leaves snacks in a box like this anyway? Isn't that just common sense? Forget it. Let me see what else is in here. A razor, some buttons, some round iron tiles, a wooden toy puppet, a wool scarf, which from the looks of it probably belonged to a woman, and a hair clip? Why are these things here?
They're probably your mom's.
I'm suddenly feeling a little scared.
I'm sorry, my lady, but this is just the kind of man he was. He probably saw this box as some kind of personal trash heap and dumped any and everything in there. 2 empty liquor bottles. Tell me, you guys, are these the kinds of things that a normal person would leave behind?
What an interesting man. Probably not.
Huh? There's something in the bottle!
Oh, you're right. All right, I got it out. It seems to be a piece of paper with some writing on it. The bottom part's all damaged from moisture, though. Let's hope the writing didn't smudge. I was suddenly seized with an urge to write a letter after finishing this bottle. I just folded it up and left it in the bottle, though. If I end up forgetting about it, it won't really matter. To Dehya. It's a letter for me?
You don't need to read it out loud.
It's all right. I'll just read it out. If he went to the trouble of writing a letter, there must have been some important things that he wanted to say. Or at least record down.
My condition's becoming worse and worse. Can't even walk without a cane anymore, much less go out and have fun. Guess I don't have many days left. If you're reading this letter, then I suppose I'm already long gone. You were adorable as a baby. Everyone loved you. And regardless of whether you were crying or laughing, everyone enjoyed having you in the group. But once you grew a bit older, you were no longer nearly as happy or cute. It's probably Idrisi's fault. He was never up to any good.
Can you believe this guy? He can point the finger at himself.
Anyway, back to the point. To summarize, I'm writing this so you would know not to feel sad for me, even if you end up finding out the truth. The reason being that I was never your father to begin with.
Wait, what?
That's a twist.
Surely, he must be joking, right?
I knew that her story at the beginning didn't add up completely. He didn't know who her mother was. But he had her, which means there's really no way... Which means either Dehya joined the group herself after the mother passed away, or he found an abandoned child.
I don't know.
I was quite formidable when I was young, and 100 times cooler than some so-called flame main. Really felt like the whole world was under my feet. With just a teeny tiny bit of effort, I felt I could rule over the entire desert. But as fate would have it, I went out into the desert for a drink one day and discovered a baby in the sands. It was you. You were just lying there, small and helpless. You were so tiny that if the wind blew for just a little while longer, you would have been buried forever.
Yipes.
But your cries were so loud they made my head hurt. Now that I think of it, you really were a bundle of energy.
Sounds like he's serious.
I told Idrisi and the others that I had slipped up with a woman while out and about. None of them even doubted me. I'm sorry that I had to lie to them for so long, but I really had no other choice. I was their most esteemed leader, after all. It's not like I could just tell them that I suddenly wanted to play at being a father.
I'm speechless.
At this rate, I'll puke up all the liquor I just drank from this bottle. Anyway, Dehya, you possess the kind of freedom and kindness that we could only dream of. As far as how you should live your life, that'll be up to you to decide.
That's the end of the letter. In the end, he was still thinking of me as a little child.
But isn't that also a good thing?
I suppose. Or I would have suffocated under the sand a long time ago.
I feel sad now.
He was a good father to you. The fact that he wasn't a blood relative doesn't change that.
If anything, it just stands out more.
Yeah. It's just a pity that we had to learn the truth of everything like this.
Do you already have some ideas about the decision that he wanted you to make?
I bet that scarf was what he found you wrapped up in.
I do. If he first found me alone in the sands, then I want to try my hand at finding the person who abandoned me. I just have one wish. To tell them a story. That there once existed a childish and foolish jerk with a heart of gold. And that only under his care was I able to grow and mature into the person I am today.
If you end up finding any leads, can you share them with us? We go on adventures all the time. Maybe we'll be able to find some information for you.
I hope to God this gets an Act 2 chapter at some point.
Sure, I appreciate it. I wasn't expecting you to be so enthusiastic.
That fucking chest is huge, now that I think about it, considering what it had in it. I also don't want to see his efforts go to waste.
I'll help too.
Thank you. All of you. Thank you so much. My life has certainly had its twists and turns, but I've always considered myself lucky. because no matter where I've gone, I've always been surrounded by incredible kindness.
That was so emotional. I don't even really know what to say or comment on it. That was wonderful. Where will your journey take you, traveler? Which means the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start going through these, because we've done all of them. So yeah, we'll be spending the day with Noelle next time. And we still have this Conda storyline as well. But hey, I get to check some things off my list. Dehya's quest. Check. Which means the Conda quest will be the next big stream we do for that. On the list. We got a hangout event planned. And we already have the date pinned on our calendars. 3/21. Well, I'll see you all on Tuesday. Stay safe, everybody. See you all next time. Just a little something extra here at the end because I forgot. But or should I say I remembered. I said we'd do a 10 pull at the end. So, here's just an extra 10 pull. No gold. Let's see what we get, though. The fucking Harbinger of Dawn, of course it is. Golly! Emerald Orb. Sharpshooter's Oath. Thrilling Tales. Sharpshooter's Oath. Fucking 2 Harbinger of Dawns again. Ooh. And a Barbara. I want to be mad. Fuck it, I'm mad. We got 2 Harbinger of Dawns again. Barbara regenerates 1 energy every 10 seconds. That's a good constellation. I wish we had that one, though. 15% cooldown reduction would be nice. And Kale. That's C3. Floral Brush by 3. That's pretty good, considering I kind of can't really level up talents. Or I haven't been leveling up talents for her. Alright. Well, now y'all can see what I do in my downtime when I'm not streaming, normally. Which is just the boring stuff. The dailies. Start working towards getting keys. Spending some of my resin. Normal, boring, everyday stuff. Editor me will probably just remove this. Because this doesn't really need to see the light of day. Ooh.
Cut to the chase.
Easy peasy.
Speed of light. Hey! Don't blink. Nowhere to hide.
15, huh?
Incoming. I must leave no stone unturned, as a good knight should.
Ugh.
Propagate!
Don't blink. With sword comes shadow.
Left, 5 enemies.
Speed of light. Hey!
Scatter!
Got lucky that time. Incoming. Come on, we can do it.
Spring forth!
Speed of light.
That was easy. What is next on my daily to-do list? Plug and play.
Cut to the chase. Time to clean up. I'll catch up. Nowhere to hide.
This is probably my favorite daily.
With sword comes shadow.
It's easy and fun. Wonder what we have to do over here. Oh, is this the Fatui one? Or is it like Bad Dogs? Dangerous Hall. Sabotage the slime balloon. I hate this one.
Speed of light. Don't blink. Cut to the chase.
Nice. I've never had that easy of a time of it.
Let's get down to business. Propagate!
As a good knight should.
There's more!
Someone needs assistance.
Light blade!
Hey!
There are more! Say no more!
I remember just setting my dailies to Inazuma just so I can get hand guards.
With sword comes shadow. I'll protect us. La, 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 la.
Propagate! Germinate!
Speed of light.
And just like that, we have completed my dailies. Which means I wonder if I can actually do a key. Because I need 2 keys to unlock the second part of chivalric training next week. Which means I'll have to log in tomorrow and do my dailies.
Add Astra. Thank you for Add Astra.
One of the nice things about having Bennett. Alright. I mean, since I have a little bit more time to kill, we might as well do something on the checklist. So let's check on our friends over in the chasm. Since it's been a few days, hopefully, Shi Guang is better. So, I'm really worried about this one. Oh no. Hey there, Jinwoo. Nice, you scared me. Sorry. Anyway, you're looking for Shiguang? She left. Where'd she go? I don't know. I was distracted just a few moments, and that was it. She was gone. I had a talk with her. She insisted on leaving. I doubt I could have cajoled her, or browbeat her, or even beat her into staying. I hope she knows what she's doing. I really do hope so. Alright, I have to tell Muning and tell him to organize a search party for the kid. We'll go to Muning. That Shiguang. She's gone again. Let's get back to the surface and look for Muning quickly. Valor's Afterglow. Oh, Mooning's the weird guy who talks in weird ways. Archaic stone. Sigh. In all the years I've worked in the chasm, I barely even see one. What are the big shots of Heishuan Hall thinking? Let them do the job, and they'll know how impossible the task is. Uning! Oh, it's you. Why are you still wandering in the upper levels of the chasm? Don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't welcome you here. I just wonder, don't you have other important matters to attend to? We were just kindly dropping by to check up on you, since you look so troubled. What happened? Sigh. Do you know about archaic stone? It's a rare ore, so rare that you won't even necessarily find one in the mines. I've only seen 2 or 3 such stones in all my years here at the chasm. It's such a gorgeous gemstone, a beauty beyond imagination. They say if you look inside the finest archaic stones, you'll see shimmering light rays as thin as hair, and that the stone's color reminds you of the sea horizon in the twilight. You mean a stone like this? Ah, you actually have one. And it's of the highest quality that I've ever seen, too. How about you sell this stone to me? Dream on. Yep, it's a gift from a friend. Besides, Paimon seriously doubts if your pocket is thick enough to afford this hole, the hole this stone is going to burn through it. Well, I've got a buyer behind me, so finances aren't exactly the problem. A buyer? Yes, somehow the big shots at Heishuan Hall are interested in the stone and wanted to analyze it. They sent me to the chasm to look for a few samples. But I'm busy getting my job over with. Doing my job. How about we make a deal? If you find any archaic stone, bring them to me. In exchange, all reward promised by Heishuan Hall will be yours. They don't have to match the quality of yours, as long as they are archaic stones. Rewards from Heishuan Hall. Normally I would handle the job myself, but my hands have been tied by various affairs here in the chasm lately, so please help me with this. Sorry, that said, I'm not sure how many they want, or about... How about you bring me 3 for starters? Alright, we got it. He says... She says he who seeks stone. I guess I just started a new quest. Zhizhuang's not with you? Words come down from the ministry. On account of invaluable help that her maps have brought the Heishuan Hall, the Ministry of Civil Affairs has decided to make an exception for her and, invite her to formally be accepted as a consultant and guide. Congratulations to her in order. It seems that all's running wasn't for naught. She left. Left? What do you mean? Do you mean she left first? But the Millelith didn't tell me of anyone leaving the chasm. Zhiguang left the team. Eh? Eh? Wait. Hang on a moment. You mean she left the exploration team? As in Xinguang left the team? Yes, which part didn't you get? I get it. I will put a search and rescue party together immediately. If she's still in the chasm, we would we should be able to find her. She might just be doing something harebrained again, or perhaps she left for another reason. But regardless, we must find her. In her current condition, working away from the team is simply far too reckless. Need my help? No, I don't reckon so. I suppose it's about time I stepped in as well. I'll be there if you need me. Paimon too. We can't just leave our junior adventurer behind. We'll look out while on the road as well. Who knows? Maybe we'll bump into her somehow. She just wandered off.
I still have documents to deliver to the Ministry of Civil Affairs today.
Oh no, I only have one of those. I'm concerned. Very concerned for her well-being. Got 28 of these. We might as well. Fucking Harbinger of Dawn, always. He's cursed. Another Bennett. And what is my actual pity at anyway? Five. 10, 15, 20. We're at about 24. Yeah, we're probably not getting a Dehya. Oh well. Save the rest, and hopefully we'll get ourselves a Mika when the next update goes live. I don't really have much more to say. We've already did our goodbyes once today, so see you next time. Have fun.